Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to do a unboxing on the Lazy Weasel of the AQUATEK Premium CO2 Regulator with integrated solenoid. This is a regulator you want to get if you have an actual CO2 tank you want to hook up to your aquarium. You're going to need one of these. You don't need to get one with a solenoid, but I personally wanted one so I can hook it up to a timer outlet and have it turn on and off automatically if I'm not there. And I won't forget, because I feel that is a thing I might forget one day and then I'm gassing my fish. So yeah, this is one I got. There's cheaper ones out there for $50, which is more intended for hydroponics or greenhouses, and they're a little bit tricky to regulate, adjust. So I hope that this one does better. We're going to install this one as well. I'm going to show you quickly how to hook it up to a CO2 tank and how to attach it to your tank for that matter. So it's not only going to be an unboxing, but we're going to start it with that. All right, let's open this bad boy up. A really nice thing is that it comes with a bubble counter. Having a bubble counter is necessary so you know how much CO2 you're going to pump into your tank. I do get ladders, or you got a ladder before, so I know it that way. But I'm going to keep this one for another tank. So that's nice that they gave you one. Thank you, AQUATEK of California. Without your product reviews, we don't exist. A little pamphlet, what they're selling, the different regulators that they have. They have one for paintball tanks. Was interesting, but I kind of wanted to go for a bigger tank because I intend to hook it up to several tanks. But that's going to be something for another video. The manual, fantastic, telling us what all of these things are. Definitely make sure to read that. Not like me right now. And here is now the main piece. A little tricky to get out of there. Come on. Very elegant, Weasel. Very elegant. All right, there it is. There's our regulator with the solenoid. Well, there's not much to it. Looks very high quality. The gauges, the solenoid. I mean, honestly, I don't care too much about the looks of it as long as it works really well. I'm not going to see it. It's going to be on my tank. It's probably going to be on your tank. You want to make sure that these work and that this thing works properly and that there are no leaks. We're going to figure that out now. Here is where you're going to put the airline tubing. This is where it goes as far as I can tell. And you can also remove this part and add a splitter. But again, that's something for another video I'm going to talk about. But yeah, this is the flow adjustment nut. And here's the fitting for the tubing. And that is the working pressure one. As far as I can tell, basically, this will open it up to the tank. And this will define how fast it goes. You basically can ramp this thing up all the way or just open it up a little bit. But this will define how many bubbles per second you're going to get with this thing. This is going to be the one. This is the on-off. All right, let's hook this bad boy up to a tank. All right, the next part is to hook up your regulator to your CO2 tank. You can get a tank like this at your local welding store. I would recommend getting one from your local supply store and not buying one online, even though they might be cheaper. These things have something engraved on them. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but if they want to exchange it, basically you walk in with your empty one and they give you a full one. You need their specifications, their tanks. Just don't bother. Just get one at your local welding supply store. They usually have that, or a CO2 dealer. Brewing supplies might have that too because they also use CO2. But in any case, this thing costs $140, including taxes, with the filling, and now I can just exchange it for one at my local store. So I got that going, which is nice. Anyway, enough of that. Let's install it. Usually, I already took it off. Usually it comes with a cap. Don't be confused. Just take off the cap. You can screw it off or just pull it off. And next thing, you're going to attach the regulator. So as you might have noticed, the regulator came with washers in this case, which you're going to have to take off and use in your connection. All right, so what you want to do is you want to release in the back this nut. I think it's a nut. So you want to place the washer in the back here, hold it against this. It'll squeeze in. You want to place that between the regulator and the tank, and then carefully hand screw it on in the right position. Hand tighten it as best as you can. All right, wonderful. Better get a wrench and tighten this one. It doesn't matter if the regulator is like perfectly straight on. The regulator doesn't care. As long as it is really tight so you don't have a leak. Next, you should have done this probably in the beginning, and I did it before. I forgot to mention it. You should make sure that these things are closed. The flow adjustment nut and the working pressure adjustment nut, make sure that these are closed. The next thing you're going to do once you've done this, you're going to plug it in because it is an electric solenoid, which means as long as it doesn't have power, it won't have any flow. It opens it up with electricity. All right, let's plug that bad boy in. And you're going to hear a click. The click is the solenoid. This one doesn't actually have a light. Another one has a light which tells you that it's open, which is a nice additional feature. This one sadly doesn't have a light for that. You're going to see these two gauges, the tank capacity pressure gauge and the working pressure gauge. They're both at 0. Once I open this one up, you're going to see that this rises up to, what is it, 900 psi. So as you can see, you have pressure on there. There's currently no hissing sound, which I assume means there's no leaks. And we can open it up here. This is the first valve. If we open it up here now, we're going to hear hissing sound. And as you can see now, you get the working pressure over here. All right, I'm going to close this off again, just to make sure it's closed. And I'm going to screw this part open and put my airline tubing in. There's going to be more expensive CO2 tubing if you want to use that. It's more rigid. Anyway, we're going to squeeze this one over this valve, right over it, and then you're going to tighten the nut on it. Really tighten it down. And ta-da! And ta-da! Your tank is hooked up. Wonderful. That's all there is to it. Again, since this is a regulator with an electronic solenoid, once I unplug the power, this closes up and you're gonna have no CO2 escaping. And as soon as it gets electricity, it's gonna start flowing again. Makes it very easy for timers. Makes it very easy to set up with timers. As you can see, I hooked it up to my bubble ladder, which I personally would recommend if you have the space. You would probably need a 10-gallon or something that is high. Personally, I put it in my 10-gallon, and it also doubles as a bubble counter because you see the bubble rising to the surface, and as it goes higher, it becomes smaller as the CO2 gets absorbed into the water. You want to make sure that you use a check valve, which makes sure that no water flows back and that you inadvertently create a siphon and all of a sudden the water flows out of your tank. So yeah, make sure to have a check valve before your bubble counter / diffuser. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was the AQUATEK CO2 Regulator with Cool Touch Solenoid. And if you want to get one yourself, you can do so with the link in the description below. So far, I like it. I'm going to see how it does in the future, if there's going to be any leaks. In any case, thanks so much for watching. I'm Weasel. I'm out and hope to see you around. Bye-bye.